Okay, this is interesting. I never, seen this before.
Very cool. Very cool. I've never observed such a very hype man before. Yo, it is, everybody. You are welcome to join us on this audio adventure, a new installment, you dig, of the ShiftMakers podcast, episode 21 of the ShiftMakers podcast. I am your host, L the Designer. Co-hosting along with me, I got a very special guest, you dig. It's actually one of my partners from college. Somebody I know very well via his own podcast, my brother Brendan. How you doing, Brendan, bro?
Yo, what's up, my brother? I like this beat.
Oh yeah, bro. We got to give you a little something special. And I'm gonna just go ahead and pause that right quick so I can hit myself right quick.
I was vibing real quick.
Brendan, I appreciate that. Brendan, as you already know, is the host, one of the hosts, one half of the Weauxdie podcast.
Yes, sir.
And it's actually a podcast based in my hometown, New Orleans, bro.
Yes, sir.
You want to give them a little bit about the Weauxdie podcast right quick before we jump into things, dog?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm Brendan. I'm host of the Weauxdie podcast along with my best friend, Joseph Williams. Yeah, we have the Weauxdie podcast. Basically, it's a platform that we talk about, we call, music and then some. Basically, we talk about everything in the music realm, like when it pertains to hip hop, R&B, pop, like whatever, category, whatever it really is, like, we feel is comfortable at the time to talk about with music. We pretty much expound upon it, album reviews, how do we think about certain artists or just anything going on in the community. And also, and then some, that's just pretty much anything pertaining to what's going on in our lives or really what's going on in the world. And we just sit down and just have a natural dialogue about it and exchange our opinions about it. So yeah, we're pretty much like your typical like couch cigar talk type vibe podcast, really.
So it's not just like you said about music. It's also about catching a vibe. It's also just about talking about, just things you got to get off your chest, right?
Yeah, definitely some talk therapy.
And of course, we're going to leave a link in the show notes so y'all can definitely hit that up. Make sure y'all subscribe on every single platform. Leave a review just like you're leaving a review for us, you did. Brendan, of course, we definitely do appreciate you stopping by. And it's actually funny that, you mentioned that y'all talk a little bit about music, of course, and just go a little bit go more in depth in those conversations. The reason is because we actually have a topic today, a little bit touching on that, about music, a little bit about rap. And really, we're going to be talking about why does rap music constantly change?
Oh, that's actually a good topic. Oh, man.
I appreciate that, dog.
Why does rap music constantly change? Ooh.
Yes, sir.
I think the realm of the world really just changes, at such a rapid pace, just going from the beginnings to now. Like you see like just a unique, like just transition into, sounds, dialogue, or just patterns of just, cadences. Like it's constantly like evolving. It's kind of unique in a way. And, sometimes we look back on it and you be like, dang, like you really went from this to where we at now. It's just like, but it's very unique because like it goes along with the changes of the world at a rapid pace. And it's kind of like unique thing about hip hop. Like you could do whatever you want with it because we made it that way. And it's so unique because like we can really make it our own and do whatever we want with it. We don't have to really box ourselves into one thing. And yeah, that's pretty much why it changes so much because hip hop is just so unique.
You want to know what's funny? You want to know what's funny, Brendan?
What's up?
I think, bro, I may just change your mind by the end of this podcast on how unique you actually may think it is.
Okay.
The reason I say that, is we gonna really go into depth about just how genuine those changes really are. And I'll be honest, everybody, of course, this may be one of our more conspiratorial based or conspiracy theory based episodes, but it's not really. Traditionally, as you know, on the ShiftMakers podcast, these aren't really conspiracy theories. They're pretty much based in truth.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, of course, referencing people that we know, famous people, people who maybe have some notoriety in the industry also, just to kind of confirm those things. So we definitely do got some legit sources, you dig? And yeah, I think really towards the end of this, you may you may really see who really kind of controls the shift in culture, we can call it, I guess.
Gotcha.
And just to start things off, I got our first reading of the day, and it's really going to be addressing this one thing. Who are the record labels and what are their history? So before we get into it, are you aware of any of the record labels, that exist, some of the major ones?
Yeah, like maybe the major ones with like Sony, shit, there's so many of them. Atlantic, UMG. It's so many of them, and it's like there's also that realm of the sub labels, and that branches off to some other shit, and it just gets so discombobulated. We had the major ones, we know about the Def Jams and all them, and all that good stuff, and Universals and Warner Brothers and all them.
It's actually funny. You look like you must have looked at my reading, bro, because you actually named the three that we was gonna be getting into, my dog.
Oh, really?
The three major ones are actually Universal Music Group,
mm-hmm.
UMG, of course, Sony Music Entertainment, SME, of course, and Warner Music Group, WMG, of course. And a little bit, of course, those three major labels have a lot of subsidiaries, which is something you was touching on when you mentioned Def Jam. Those are one of the subsidiaries of Universal.
Mm-hmm.
Along with, say, Republic, which is, I believe, what has Drake. I believe Drake is signed to Republic, either Republic or the main Universal branch.
Yeah, I think it's Republic.
Right.
I think. Yeah.
And then there's Capitol. There's Island Records, which is like the home of YG and a few other like artists. I think Rihanna was part of Island at some point. Universal Nashville, which has mad freaking country people. And I mean, the list goes on in Interscope.
Oh, yeah,
Interscope, which is Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. I'm just trying to think of like some of the major hip hop artists on Interscope. Baby King. I mean, there's really a lot of people on Interscope that has a lot of notoriety, like 50 Cent, or if you're talking about the older acts. I think that was Aftermath was part of Interscope also.
That's Dr. Dre's Aftermath?
Yes, that's Dr. Dre with Eminem. And mm-hmm. I mean, you see the heavy hitters already.
Right.
So basically everybody we just named is all under Universal Music Group. So yeah, all of the major artists, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Drake, Kanye, they're all under Universal. Right. Now, moving forward to Sony, these subsidiaries, the subsidiaries of Sony include labels like Columbia, RCA, Epic. Epic is actually one of the bigger independent, quote unquote, independent labels. Has people like Future. I forgot the dude name off the top of my head. I think the Baby is maybe on Epic. Really, it's a lot of mm-hmm. newer art acts on Epic solely because of that quote unquote independent little backline that they have. And then last but certainly not least, you got Warner Music Group, which holds Warner Records, which is like Rick Ross and all of his label. He's part of Warner, Elektra, and the major Atlantic Records. Now, let me tell you a little something about Atlantic. Atlantic owns so many of our favorite artists, including people like Youngboy, NBA Youngboy, Kodak, Cardi, Meek. I mean, the list goes on and on. Lil Baby. I mean, it's a roster.
Oh yeah, like Bruno Mars, Thug, all of them like pretty much was.
Bruh, Thug, Bruno, like you said. I believe Oh no. Anderson is on Universal because he with Dr. Dre. But yeah, like it's definitely super, super heavy regarding the newer acts. And really a lot of the trap rappers are on Atlantic also. So now that you got, of course, three major labels, Universal, Warner, and Sony, do you feel like we really kind of have a choice regarding who we put our ears to?
Like a choice as in like just constantly hearing it like excessively, or you mean like?
That's a good question. My bad. I actually should have clarified that better. So more so like a choice as in the powers that be, of course, those three companies, a choice as in, hey, if they don't want to push, say, a conscious song, if they don't want to push a conscious song talking about certain things, then those three can kind of get into a meeting and say, all right, hey, y'all, we don't want to push this type of material. We gonna only want to push this material. Do you think that we actually have the choice to say, all right, we don't want to listen to the material they're going to push. We're going to listen to the ones we want to push or we want to listen to?
Yeah, I think we kind of do have a choice, especially now. I think we kind of do have a choice of just who we want to listen to and who we can't listen to. But I think also too with the whole labels situation, they still have a lot of control as to like putting the music out, with the radio plays and just, the streams and stuff. It just, how it's marketed and just, they pretty much still have the control of that, which kind of feeds into, the consumption of listening to it. But I think at the same time, there's still the small percentage of us that still, can go back and listen to what we want to listen to and push pretty much like push it out if we wanted to at the same time. So,
right.
So I still think the label still does.
Agree. I was going to say, I kind of agree with you though. Low key. I feel like the labels, I don't know. See, I feel like the labels, they have the opportunity to control streaming much more than, say, when it was just traditional, record sales regarding, you got to go into a physical store and buy a vinyl or buy a CD or buy a cassette tape. They actually kind of have, weirdly enough, more control now that they don't have to do that, because regarding the streaming, I feel like they can push what we see first. So, for instance, if we go on Apple Music, and we say go to a playlist, they control with the the order of those playlists, right, or even who gets on those playlists. They get to gatekeep that,
right?
Even like best new music or like the browsing section on Apple Music or whatever it may be regarding user interface. So basically, how the user interacts with the app. They control that from top to bottom. They right. So that can kind of, like if you really want to look for something from an independent artist, you got to type in their name and the album just to get to that exact song and album kind of.
Yeah, like, I was just about to say, like you still kind of, even like with the independent artists, you still kind of like got to go out your way to look for that artist or just look for that type of music or that song, like. Because, some labels just ain't really trying to push that type of like content out or just really like in for it. Like they'll have it there, but it's not about to be like a top priority of theirs. And I don't think we pretty much, I don't think we're there yet. But I think hopefully one of these days we will.
No, we definitely ain't there yet.
Right.
And I want to ask you, just regarding us being there, why don't you feel like we are?
We're in a very, me and Joe actually talk about this sometimes on the podcast. Like we're in a very interesting space in just music, I feel, as far as labels and artists. We're kind of in this like, I would call it like a fight or what's the dispute, I would say. Yeah, like I'll say dispute. Like artists are starting to catch on to, pretty much the mishandling and the mismanaging of, not only royalties, but also money and contracts and stuff with these labels, which is why a lot of these rappers and stuff, kind of create their own like sub labels or their own groups, or they just try to put on their own artists so they could kind of just like take them under the wing to make the right decisions and the right money so they don't get in the same position they was in. So like, yeah, like it's kind of interesting, a very interesting space we're in right now, because we're pushing a lot of like the heavy hitters and the people we listen to are actually trying to like push towards the independent route or trying to push towards like getting your own masters or like owning your own music. And yeah, like it's kind of strange. Like, you know, like you kind of feel it. No, I mean, even with me listening to music, like nowadays, like music to me doesn't really hit. It's not, well, currently it's just not hitting right now. Maybe it's just like maybe something with me, but it's like I just see it and I hear it. And it just, I don't know, man. Just like stuff just isn't really right in the air or isn't really right in the atmosphere for me.
That's true.
A lot of these artists, like, you know, the music is good. You know, at the end of the day, like it's still like, you know, what it is. But I don't know, man. It's like these labels and these artists just aren't really like eye to eye no more. Like it's just like, you know, like you said, when we was in the CD era or the iPod era, like it's the music was hitting because of shit. Like it was all about the hit. It was all about the radio plays. And then we made that transition. Like, you know, now it's about streams, and streams are pretty much, you know, your new dollar value. Like you have to get, you know, a certain amount of streams. You have to break this record or, you know, be on the top of this chart. And, you know, you have to kind of like keep up at a constant pace. And it's just like, yeah, man, it's a real like, it's a real cutthroat game out here.
Yo, you got a point.
You be spitting, bro. You be spitting, dog. Honestly, it's, and I just 100% agree with you, especially when you said that it just don't hit no more. Like when you hear it, the first few seconds of a song, like I used to be able to really get into it just off the first like 3-4 seconds of a song. Now I really got to listen to almost the whole song just to see if I'm a download.
Right, like, man. It's really, it's really frustrating.
It is. And again, that kind of brings us back to like our main topic as to just why does music constantly change? And I want to ask you now, of course, just regarding, say, rap music, why do you feel the transition from, say, like, because you know how it started originally, say, as a conscious thing, you know, as a whole little conscious genre, something that had a message, you know, I think the name of the song actually was called like The Message or something like that. I forgot the I'm not no hip hop. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't no hip hop historian, but I do know a lot of the songs. It was called The Message or something like that. But it was like a real conscious song. You know, it's a song that'd be like, don't push me cause I'm so close to the edge. You heard that before?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's shit, bro. I forgot the name of the dude. But yeah, basically it started off as something like that where the dude, people clearly had a message talking about, you know, black trouble, black trauma, whatever it may be, and just trying to put themselves in a better situation. So I want to ask you, when or how or why do you feel like the change and transition to gangsta rap?
Okay. Well, yeah.
Say like the early 90s came in.
I got you. Well, also to kind of answer your question before, you was trying to figure out, it was The Message by the Furious Five and Grandmaster Flash. Yeah, that was
there you go.
I just looked it up. But yeah, man,
very quick.
But yeah, the transition into gangster rap, you said?
Yeah, like why did that happen?
Oh man, why did it happen? Man, you know, that's honestly a great question that I wish I could probably like, you know, understand why. And I kind of do understand why, because, you know, hip hop kind of was always in the streets in a way. It still spoke about the struggle, and it still spoke about, you know, the stuff we had to go through. And I think, you know, once it became our thing, once it became our struggle, and I think once that became what it was, I think it just started to be a transition. All right, like, you know, we're going to talk about, you know, like you said, the message about, you know, consciousness and stuff like that. And then I guess it kind of like dwindled down into the streets. Like, all right, let's talk about what's really going down. Let's talk about what's really happening out here and put it out there. And I think once the sound came, you know, once that raw bass or that rawness and that real, like, you know, like authentic vulgarness of it, then I think that's when it kind of became a life of its own. Like, oh shit, like, you know, not to really like, you know, go off track, or just to kind of just like, you know, I'm gonna just name a group, like, you know, like Ice Cube and NWA, like, you know, them, like, that pretty much brought like a whole new, like, you know, feel and realm, and just like, oh shit, like, you know, like the rebelness of, hip hop and what it was. And it's like, I don't think a lot of people were really ready for that or really like, on board with that, with just, the lyrics or just like the use of, saying nigga on songs all the time and stuff like fuck the police and all these like raw, like real deal, like just raw messages. And I think, like that was actually, kind of like, going into your point, like that was just like the transition of, what it was like from the message even to that, like that's, in a way it kind of is a message, like, but it's just a message in its own way, just a message in its own, like, struggle, a message in its own situation. And, it like we were saying earlier, like it evolves and like you see it like evolve in a lot of different ways. And, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Like, it's not, some things just aren't really wavy. And I think, you kind of, and we kind of seeing now, like, there's a lot of things that just aren't wavy. And, we try to like, we still glorify it because, it's hip hop.
Right.
And, people are going to latch on to it. But yeah, man, it's just a lot, like a lot of shit.
I mean, I agree. I do feel like that transition to gangster rap, it did kind of happen. It did happen organically regarding us taking it from something and then transitioning to something. But this is where I feel like the unorganic, I guess, the ungenuine nature of the record industry kind of came in. Is when I feel like the label started pushing it intentionally.
Right.
And I think that actually had a lot to do with NWA because originally, as you mentioned, that type, the type of lyrics they was pushing, just saying fuck a lot in the song wasn't common, let alone saying fuck the police or nigga 3,500 times. Yeah. So, when you kind of got that big ass shift or like that big ass punch to the throat just hitting you, that's going to, of course, piss a lot of people off. And my whole thing is like, if that pissed a lot of people off, then when did the labels feel like it was a good idea to start pushing this? Because in order for them to get to the notoriety that they got to, especially back in the late 80s, early 90s when they popped off, you had to have label support pushing you like hell. So it's like, what made them want to push this type of music when you still had the message and like what was Flavor Flav and I forgot their group. Damn, I'm down bad for this yet. But shit, it's damn son. What was their group name? They made the song "Fight the Power."
Oh, you talking about Flavor Flav and all them?
Yeah.
Oh, Public Enemy, yeah.
Public Enemy, yeah, Public Enemy. Like Public Enemy, Nas, like all these conscious niggas and shit. Like when they had all of this going on simultaneously at the same time as NWA, what made the labels turn and say, all right, NWA is the option? And that's, I feel like, is exactly the same thing that we kind of went through in 2010. Well, really like 2015, when we had mad conscious rap pouring in since like 2008 to say like 2015 when Drake dropped that if you're reading this is too late, it was like a major shift that kind of happened from conscious to trap.
Yeah.
Like a major shift. Like it was damn near overnight. Because I remember specifically there was rarely any main trap songs that was popping. There was like, like the songs like what's that T.I. song with Young Thug? About the Money, I think it's called. Songs like that.
Money? Yeah.
Right. Like they had songs like that, but it was very far and few.
Yeah.
Once Drake dropped If You're Reading This Is Too Late, bruh, it was like a sea change. Like that's when we got all of the Young Thug joints started coming out. Then that's when we got like that's when Future really got into his
Dirty
mainstream
Sprite 2,
bag.
That was that era. Ooh, shit.
He dropped Dirty Sprite 2 that same year.
Yep, 2015.
I'm almost certain. Yeah, he dropped it like that same year as If You're Reading This Is Too Late. And like, yeah, bro, it's just so crazy just to see how rap just changed overnight in 2015, kind of. And that really puts us to our first clip of the day, where we're gonna be asking ourselves, why did the label start then pushing mumble rap? Because when trap rap started, and they already had trap. Don't get me wrong, they had Jeezy, they had T.I., but I'm talking about like the trap beats, like them super dark, like the trap beats, like Half a Future, Dirty Sprite 2, like those type of beats, where it's like mainly club fucking bounce beats, those type of, not bounces in New Orleans, but like literally the beat is bouncing.
Bounce beats, yeah.
Yeah. Like those type of shits, those beats, those type of lyrics, those type of songs really kind of got popping around that 2015, 2016 area. And then we had the advent of mumble rap that just kind of started busting out around 2016, 2017, when that's when Young Thug really started taking off. And I really feel like he was the real first mumble rapper who got like mainstream success. Because at the time we was understanding Future. Like we was understanding the majority of what Future was saying. He just was, heavy auto-tune.
Yeah.
But Thug, you had to look up what the fuck Thug was saying.
Yeah, Thug and Rich Homie Quan, like all them like pretty much came in busting with the mumble rap.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, I ain't got really too much against trap or mumble or most of the rap that we kind of talking about today, because I listen to most of the shit. It's just when you notice the difference, it's important to point it out.
Hell, even Wayne was doing that early in his career at one point. I feel like that kind of opened the gate for like Thug and Rich Homie and everybody that pretty much came after in that class. Like even Wayne started doing it, but it wasn't like, Wayne was Wayne. Wayne is Wayne to us. Like
right.
Still go rap bar for bar metaphor shit. But he had his little, sometimes he'll have his songs where you don't know what the fuck Wayne talking about. Like,
but you're right though. You're right, and that's honestly something I ain't even consider. Wayne really did usher in that. Mm-hmm. Like he really did usher in that sound. And that just people being comfortable with that. But you are right too when you say Wayne. He was really known and solidified as this lyrical fucking giant that 99.9% of the niggas couldn't touch.
Right.
So nobody really viewed it as mumble rap because people know, oh, Wayne get busy. Mm-hmm. Like, Wayne get busy. So what we gonna do? And that's kind of where it's like when Thug and Rich Homie, when they shit was starting to really get accepted, that was even before they was known as lyrical. Because don't get me wrong, Thug do be dropping some. He be dropping some gems too, but...
Oh yeah, Thug be spitting sometimes, man.
Nah, Thug, he do be spitting. He do be spitting. I ain't gonna hate. But yeah, that brings us basically to our first clip of the day, you dig? And that's gonna be... It's gonna be coming from this YouTube channel. And of course, I'm gonna leave a credit in the show notes. It's coming from Unplug 'Em. Mm-hmm. And again, they're gonna be answering they're going to be answering, why do labels start pushing mumble rap?
As opposed to speaking clearly and having a grasp.
And you can hear this, right?
Yeah.
For vocabulary,
all right, cool.
Which was threatening to the powers that be, of course, on many levels. These young men are encouraged one way or the other, if by no other way but economically encouraged.
And my bad, y'all. I know the dude got like a very slow voice, so stick with me now. My dude got a very, very, very slow and dragging voice, but definitely stick with me because he's saying some definite gems, and I want y'all to catch it.
Because it sells. They're encouraged to mumble rap, mush mouth rap, so to speak. So there was a move. And, things appear when a conspiracy is well orchestrated, then that conspiracy will make things appear to happen organically or by happenstance, or as people mistakenly say, coincidentally. But they make.
So, of course, he basically just telling us that a lot of times when we see these transitions in music, and by they, of course, I'm talking about the powers that be, these major labels that control all of this shit. They want to make it seem like it's coincidental that these transitions are happening. So when we mention, of course, gangsta rap, just to go back to what we was talking about with NWA, they wanted that to come across as, oh, they just reporting, they the hood CNN. They just reporting on what they see, what they seen all their life. They ain't really going around shooting at niggas and killing niggas. And what that man Ice Cube say, I got a saw dog. No, man, body's all hard dog. Whatever the fuck that nigga said. Basically, they wanted to make that seem like it was just a seamless, coincidental change that happened out of the hood.
Right.
But in all actuality, that happened in an office with mad white people behind a desk, wondering and pondering, hey, if we push this, if we put, let's just say 1 million behind the marketing and the advertising of this song, how will this audience, of course, being the Black community, view this song? And will they actually take part in it? That way we can get an ROI, which is a return on investment. That's the type of conversations that they're having. And I know this because I myself work in marketing and advertising. Literally the type of stuff that they have behind closed doors. However, again, as your boy just said, my guy Unplug him, as he just said, they want to make this look like it's coincidental. Like it's just Drake dropping this mixtape that's amazing. Now everybody want to do it. When in all actuality, that's not really the case. That's something that they're pushing.
Right, man. There's always a motive, man.
Exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead and let them finish. Oh, my bad. You want to throw something else in there?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you know, they were pretty much biting off the fucking SoundCloud waves. Like, you know, SoundCloud became just so big at one point. And, you know, of course, labels gonna hop on whatever's hot. And I was like, well, shit, if everybody, you know, tune in to SoundCloud rap, like, if people are really like messing with, you know, local artists, upcoming underground rap, like, we need to get on this. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's something to this sound, and yeah, man, it's pretty much where we at now.
Exactly. And you brought up something I didn't even, I ain't even fucking think about SoundCloud, son. Bro, SoundCloud, when it came to the ushering of the trap / mumble rap wave, SoundCloud was so pivotal because it allowed these labels to really be able to stream music before Apple Music, before all of these streaming platforms outside of Spotify. But even then, with Spotify, you had to have like all types of little things in order for artists to upload their content compared to nowadays.
Thanks.
So SoundCloud was really like that hub to let labels see who basically they gonna exploit, whose shit they gonna steal and exploit, basically.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
They were so ahead of his time. That shit crazy.
Bro.
What a time.
So crazy. Nah, for real. I mean, I don't even know my like SoundCloud info, bro. I ain't been on SoundCloud maybe in like 5 years, dog. You?
Oh, man.
When last time you been on SoundCloud?
Man, I haven't been on SoundCloud, man. There's certain songs I would go to SoundCloud on just for nostalgia reasons, but man, I haven't been on SoundCloud like looking up an artist or just hearing anything in a while.
Dude,
I think when Drake dropped the Duppy freestyle, that's when I went to SoundCloud. That's the last time I actually went back, when Drake dropped Duppy freestyle for Pusha T.
You know what, bro? I think that literally is the last time I did the exact same shit when Drake dropped. Nah, like for real. Because I remember specifically going to SoundCloud for it. So you might actually be right. That may have been the last time I specifically looked something up on SoundCloud. And that was like, damn, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago?
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's so basically, as we can see now, SoundCloud was a tool for these labels to do their research for the most part, and to kind of gauge how hot the market is for a particular artist, because you know SoundCloud lets you view the likes, the replays, the shares, all that shit. So you can really see how hot their audience, and by their audience I'm talking about like the specific artist audience is. And that way you can see if you're going to get a ROI, return on investment. So if you're going to offer up this artist, you know, a couple $1 million for a 2-album deal, then you could clearly see, oh shit, I give him 2 million. He got 15 million subscribers. Each and every song get 1 million likes. Oh, I could definitely get my ROI of this $2 million back within the first year. probably a good 15 million, because this is how they view it. It's all about percentage points and analytics. Like, you see their audience is at 15 million, you probably thinking, well, I can get at least 1% to 5% of that audience right there. And then from there, once we get some loyal fans going, it's just going to multiply.
Oh, yeah.
But the artist is locked in that deal already. So they ain't going to see the fruits of that multiplication, only the label.
The rabbit hole.
Come on, man. And that's literally the SoundCloud rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, sir. And of course, now that we're talking and going a little bit more in depth about these labels and just how heavy they exploit these artists, let's kind of talk a little bit more about why do artists even sign with these labels in the first place? Like, what's the advantages of doing that shit?
Man, I think it's always just about the idea, like, I made it. Like, all right, like I made it. I got signed to this label. I got followers. I got clout. Like, I think it's just the rush of just, what's in front of you. Like, hey, like I got signed to the same label with Meek Mill and fucking Rihanna and Jay-Z. Just to kind of like have that notoriety or just like that that name behind you. I think a lot of times, they do get caught up in not only the logistics of what really the deal is, but just what it might look like. And man, it's kind of sad to see, like, rappers like sign the labels, even though, like, you see they were hot, like they had a buzz, and then they just disappear. I'm like, the fuck, like, what happened? Like, you had a little run and then you just kind of just go and fade off in the background, and it's like years later you find out, like, all right, like, the label wasn't really treating them right. The label wasn't really distributing the money like it should, or like they wasn't trying to push the album, or they wasn't trying to really, like, help promote the album. It's real fucked up, man. Because, like you said, like you were saying earlier, like, in an office space with a bunch of white people, pretty much, presenting your music. We all seen the video with Bobby Shmurda, like, in the office, like, damn, they're going hard in the office, like, going dumb in that bitch, and white people looking like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I never, seen this before.
Very, very cool, very cool. I've never observed such a very hyped man before.
And it's like,
like, bro, they don't know what to do with that shit, son. They don't know what to do with that shit.
It's like, you gonna put, like, it's like your fate is in these people's hands. Like, they supposed to, like, it's like
tell you what's hot,
right? They the ones that understand, like, what you talking about, or they the ones knowing what like the terminology or like the history behind your music or your people. Like, what the fuck? Like, I got to answer to this. These are the people that I put my faith into. Like, it's crazy, bro.
And bruh, all for a check, dog. All for a motherfucking check. Craziness.
How you feel about, like, when you see artists like sign the labels? What's your, like, initial, like, reaction as to why they're so quick to jump on, like the label wave initially?
I personally don't, and it's a hard thing, honestly, because I try not to, bash a person who really trying to make a life-changing decision, because we all, want better for ourselves and our family. So I know that has to do a lot of why they do that and they make a hasty decision like that. However, I truly do feel that with music, when you sign to one of those labels, morally, you're giving away something. You're giving away, honestly, a lot, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because of the amount of control that they have over you. If you don't believe me, look at Chloe Bailey. Look at Beyonce. Look at any female artist who started off very innocent looking. Very, very innocent. Music and content was so innocent. And then now all of a sudden, when they got to a certain age, which is, of course, what these labels try to do, they exploit people the minute they turn 18. Mm-hmm. Very, very sick people behind these labels, by the way. But the minute they turn 18, oh, it's on and popping. Oh, yeah. And that's exactly what they did with Beyonce. They're doing the exact same thing with Chloe Bailey. And it's just as far as just exploiting how they look, sexuality wise. Yeah. And, content wise in their music, they pushing overly hyped, overly sexualized content now. You did the same thing with Beyonce, same thing with Chloe Bailey. And that goes to show me, okay, the labels are literally telling them to do this. Mm-hmm. So they can get their ROI. Because they're attractive women. I mean, they trying to do the good old 2 + 2 = 4. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, bruh, at a certain point, do these women really want that?
Right. I be thinking that too. Like, do y'all really want to, like, talk about this in your songs? Like, maybe so, maybe not. But it's just like, do y'all really have to, like, we all forced to do this, or this is really just how you feel? Because it's like, There's no way you just wake up one day and like, let me change my whole image, or let me just get sexual, like let me just go rampant, let me just go wild, like with everything. And it's just,
come on, man.
I don't know, man. I mean, just being a consumer is like, okay, like cool, like, oh shit, because like, you feed into the hype, or you feed into like now we got social media, Twitter, like that kind of boosts up your your image, or boosts up the topic around you and stuff. Like you saying with Chloe Bailey, it's like that became a like an overnight thing. It's like, oh shit, like you went from this to this. Niggas gonna be like, oh shit, I'm on that. Like she definitely she like the new Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like how Beyonce was to us when we was young. It's like, oh shit, like okay, yeah,
exactly.
We on that, like,
bruh. And it's like something planned and coordinated, damn near.
Yeah,
you think?
great marketing.
Because it's the exact same style. Oh yeah,
great marketing,
man. You know it's about marketing. You know it's all about marketing at the end of the day. But yeah, bro, like it's really just crazy just to see how they do that type of shit, dog. And it really puts me in the perspective of knowing that these labels, they truly, truly do control what, of course, they put out. And by that, if you want to go back to our example with Chloe Bailey and Beyonce, they control what they put out, but they also control what their audience listen to. And it's like, bruh, I know I just asked, is this what they want? But I wasn't even just talking about what Beyonce and Chloe Bailey want. I'm talking about the 16-year-old girl that's listening to them, or the 21-year-old young woman that's listening to her,
mm-hmm.
or whatever it may be, the 43-year-old single lady.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, Beyonce? If it's one of them, fam, is this what they truly want? Or is it what they're being forced to listen to so that it turns into what they want? Because they forced to listen to it so much. When you get, bro, and we all know, bro, if you force something down somebody's throat 20 times a day, they likely going to want to hear the 21st time.
Oh, yeah.
Or they likely going to want the same meal the 21st time.
They're going to believe it eventually.
Come on, man. They're going to get brainwashed, basically. Sure. So it's bro, it really puts us into perspective as to how these labels control the artists, not only them, but the audience that the artist has influence over. Which is us.
What do you feel like, since we're on the, like, just to kind of keep it on that same subject, like with the women making the transition, how you feel like you do that with male artists? Like, what do you think is like for us, like for a male artist, what do you think is their push or for like a transition? Like, is it the hood image, or is it the toxic, behavior? Like now it's just all about toxicity. So you think it's like, just, all right, like now you got to talk about sex, you got to talk about girls, you got to fuck these bitches, you got to get this money. Like you think that's like the
two things.
What's up?
Two things, bro. And you dude, you so on the money with this shit. I ain't even got to say it, bro. It's exactly the two things you just mentioned. I couldn't have said the shit any better. It's the hood image, which is from wise words from, well, I won't say wise, but words from our friend 21 Savage. Something, my chopper hate niggas. No, call it KKK because my chopper hate niggas. Basically, I forgot what that song, it was one of the Metro Boomin albums. But basically, 21 Savage is a prime example of one of them artists that labels love, because now they can push shoot a nigga, kill a nigga, rob a nigga, and whatever else you want to do to a nigga, because apparently that's what black people love. They love to see black men fucked up, which is fucking insane.
Crazy.
But, bruh. And we gonna go more into, best believe, everybody. Just hold on for a few more minutes, because we gonna go into that too. But it's really crazy when you sit back and consider that. And then two, the second thing is not having a man and woman in the household. That's literally the second thing that they push. The reason that they push that is in every Drake song, he talking about fucking mad bitches or just not being loyal, or basically about being a very toxic man. Same thing with Future. Same thing with any other popular rap artist. Even J. Cole. Well, J. Cole doing that much less now. I feel like in some of his songs, he's more so nowadays talking about being a little bit more of a faithful person. Mm-hmm. But those are like the two main things that that these labels really love to see rap artists push. Being a nigga that fuck everybody, basically, and also being a nigga that shoot everybody. if you got the two, if you could combine those two, oh shit, you Lil Baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit, you Lil Wayne.
You the man.
Oh shit, I could go on and on. Oh shit, you Jay-Z.
For real.
You tough. You see what I'm saying?
Top
Oh shit,
dog.
you T.I.
For real.
Come on, man. Oh shit, you Drake. Well, Drake don't talk about shooting niggas, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bro, I truly do feel like that those are like the two main things that they push on the male artists, the male rap artists for the most part, to push in their songs. And before we get into our clip, of course, our clip addressing why do these artists sign to these labels, I just want to tell y'all to take some time, put a quick pause on this right quick, and look at your app that you're using. Look at the Spotify app, of course, look at the Apple app. If you're listening to this on YouTube, just take a quick second and, of course, subscribe. Leave a quick little 5-star review, you dig? And just let us know what you like, what you didn't like. Any type of positive feedback, any negative feedback, we love it. Let us know. And just think about the value you got from the show. Consider leaving the value back if you do want to do that. We have a PayPal link below, our CashApp. We also got a Venmo, you heard me. So definitely do consider leaving some value back.
Value, and value. Oh, we need that.
All right. And bringing us back into our next clip of the day. We just wondering, why do these artists sign with these labels? Like, what is the main reason that these labels really, well, these artists really see an advantage into signing with these people?
Now, as opposed to speaking clearly.
Oh, wait, that was actually our last clip. Shit.
Giving the illusion of control by dangling a big yet unobtainable number in front of your face. Giving the illusion of control.
Hold on. Man.
It'd be like
Say
that.
something, son. You
It'd be
you
like
keep
that.
talking. Keep talking right quick, bro. Hold on. I'm going to have to clip this out, son, because I think I must have forgot to, I must have didn't put that last clip up in here.
Oh no, you good. But yeah, man, these artists sign to these labels just for the glory and for, like, I guess the thrill of, you know, what they could get from it, what they think they could get from it. You know, I think everybody wants to go into it and be Jay-Z all of a sudden, and you know, you want to get your own business, so you want to, you know, get millions and billions of dollars and, you know, live this glorious lavish lifestyle. But it's like, man, like, you don't really know what really, you know, what you got to go through, like the stipulations in your contract to really, like, get the money you deserve. Like, I already don't think half these dudes be reading their contracts, man. That's just,
Of course not.
kind of just sad to say. Like, you know, they really just don't really know. And especially nowadays, I feel like, you know, as much as we see, like contracts and stuff just being so publicly, like, exploited, like, you know, with all these artists, like, pretty much, you know, displaying their frustrations with their labels and stuff. These young artists can't really say they didn't know what they're getting into. Like, I feel like you should have a well knowledge of, you know, what record labels want from you, or what they really do to these artists, for you to really, like, you know, not go into it, you know, with any type of knowledge, or at least be educated with, you know, like, what you're really signing yourself to. Man, it's got to make better decisions, wiser decisions. Just even, like, these art, like, I definitely applaud the artists, like, you know, like the OGs and this shit, just for, like, you know, putting it out there, like, you know, frustrating, like, you know, just saying, like, man, fuck these labels, like they taking my money, like, they ain't really upfronting me and stuff like that. Like, even like Meek, remember when Meek Mill had tweeted out his label issues? I was just like,
Yeah,
damn.
with Ross and them.
Yeah, I was just like, damn, Meek, like, you? Like, you know what I'm saying? I thought...
Nah, bro. Ain't nobody safe.
Right,
Ain't
it's
no
like-
free smoke. It's free smoke, bro. It's
real.
free smoke with that exploitation, you hear me?
I'm like, damn, man. These labels still on
Wait.
that bullshit.
Oh, yeah. No, it ain't gonna never stop. But honestly, though, I really do agree with you. I feel like these people, these artists, they really do need to, if not look after, and I know it's hard because most of them, they coming from impoverished situations. So the number one thing on their mind when they see a couple million about to be handed to them, number one thing on their mind isn't necessarily, oh, how is this going to change my life in the next 5 to 10 years? Is this going to make me this, that, and the third? They, how much money am I going to get from this truly? They ain't really considering that. Or how valuable is my music going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? They ain't really considering that because they see something that could possibly change their life. So I feel like, that could be very difficult. Just having that Dave Chappelle button where you say no to 50 mil, that I feel like could be very difficult. But it is necessary when...
I like that reference to the Dave Chappelle button.
Oh, yeah. But I do feel like it's necessary when, you're not too sure about your future and your generations that's coming after you. And just, again, having materialistic things, of course, is being thrown your way. But again, what type of materialistic things can you afford if you was to bet on yourself in 5 to 10 years? You just was to consider that. I feel like a lot of people would have a little bit more discipline when it came to signing these outrageous deals, these 360s or whatever it is that's putting them in a very bad situation,
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to our next clip, since I couldn't find our first one. Our next clip, which is basically, why do artists sign with these record labels in the first place? And what are some things that's promised by these record labels? So as far as just, of course, certain things, we heard of Young Money, Cash Money, different type of things Baby be doing. Of course, hell, you just mentioned Rick Ross, Meek Mill, they situation, the type of things they was doing regarding... Yep. Not just even giving them their fair royalties, but more so just giving them maybe a whip. Or maybe, a couple of bitches or whatever, a couple of women, my bad, whatever it may be. So, I'm about to go ahead and play this second clip of the day. What are some things promised by artists, by their labels? Well, promised to artists.
As for how they do it, well, there's a series of age-old scams which are employed to keep both major labels and their seemingly hip-hop-friendly subsidiaries in the driver's seat. For starters, we have the whole concept of a record company advance. Often seen as the first substantial bag that an up-and-coming rapper receives, the advance...
The advance, the holy advance.
has become the stuff of hip-hop legend. Defined as a sum of money given by the label to the artist for them to live off of while producing an album, which then has to be paid back from sales of that album before any royalties can be claimed. The common perception is that they've awarded the funds to you, and from then on...
So, just because I know he's talking kind of fast, just to give that a little bit of a breakdown, in advance works like this. I give Brendan, let's just say, $2,500 to help me with my record label. So I give Brendan $2,500 to maybe make 3 songs with me and my record label, right? Those 3 songs can cost $1,000 total. So out of that $2,500, $1,000 of that actually went to the production of those 3 songs, which means $1,500 actually just went to Brendan for profits, if my math is correct. Yeah. So that's kind of how an advance works regarding an advance giving a label giving an advance to an artist. And of course, the label is expected to recoup that $2,500 back. So Brendan in turn released those 3 songs. If that $2,500 is recouped via, of course, that record deal, then until Brendan makes enough sales off of those 3 songs, I own 100% royalties of those 3 songs. Exactly. Well, and then, of course, the percentage is based off of the deal. So it may not be 100%. It could be 95. It could be 98. It's going to be an extremely high number.
Real high
because,
number.
Again, they get... Right, because they gave you an advance. So remember going back to, our marketing topic where we was talking about ROI, return on investment, this is how these labels get that ROI, return on investment. They give out an advance, $2,500. Of course, those 3 songs, if it goes platinum, which means 1 million sold, songs are 99 cents on iTunes. 1 million times 99 is basically 99 cents, of course. It's basically $1 million. If one of those songs go platinum, I made $1 million.
Easily.
See what I'm saying?
Easily.
Exactly. After only giving Brennan $2,500. Now, y'all asking, well, once you get $2,500 out of that $1 million, then you recouped. Well, actually, depending on how that deal is, if he owes me an album, then he's still working off that deal, and I could still make money off of those 3 songs, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So that $2,500 advance is still in effect. So he's still basically eating off that $2,500. Meanwhile, I'm making $1 million off of his platinum single.
Pretty much working for free at that point.
Working for free. Exactly. And again, after he recouped that, which means after he makes me my $2,500 back and he gets his album off, say if it was a 1 album, 2 album deal, he gets those albums off, then he can start making royalties off of his music. So after all of that, after all of that shit that he got to do to produce an album, write an album, record an album, mind you, we already gave you your advance, so don't come asking for more now. So, yep, bro, that's literally how this shit go. And yeah, dog.
Bro, it's such a cutthroat world we live in.
So cutthroat.
Such a cutthroat world.
Hey.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. I never heard that breakdown before. Like, just even hearing you talk about it, I'm like, damn, man, that's really fucked up. Like, you know, they'll give you that advance to kind of like, you know, mask like what they really doing behind the doors. Like, oh, like, you know, yeah, we'll give you this advance, but meanwhile, we know you're going to get at least 1 million streams off, or just probably more just off of your name and your buzz. And, you know,
because we saw your SoundCloud,
right.
We saw your SoundCloud, or we saw your Instagram and saw how many followers you got. And again, we could just do basic analytics to see, oh, he got this many followers, this many impressions. So that means he have influence over this many people, which means we can definitely get this much money back.
Exactly. And I'm like, 1 million streams, that's easy. I think a stream counts for like what, 10 to 30 seconds, maybe just off a listen. I think that's what kind of counts as a stream. But yeah, man, just off of that, like, bro, that's, like you said, 99 cents each listen or just each stream. And bro, like that's those dollars like add up, man. Like,
come on,
crazy. And that goes straight to the label, It ain't even probably even going to you. Like, you know,
bro,
unless you go tour.
So, and that's exactly where you see a lot of people touring damn near every year or after every project. That's exactly why they're doing it, is because they're not making any money off their music.
Right.
And just to go back to say the profits, remember how I told you, of course, if I give you $2,500 and it only costs you $1,000 to record those 2 songs, you made $1,500 in profit. At the time being, you know, once you recorded those 3 songs, you probably thinking, oh, well, shit, you know, this is a decent little, you know, it's a decent little amount of money. It only took me maybe a week to record those 3 songs. So I only worked for a week and got $1,500. That ain't too bad. But in retrospect,
right,
when you think, all right, I got $1,500 in profit after the label worked those 3 songs and pushed those 3 songs, and it goes platinum, and now we look at the label's profit, right? So the label gave you $2,500, but instead now a year later they done made $1 million off of you because one of your songs went platinum. So let's see. 1 million minus 2,500. That is 997,000.
Yep.
And $500, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you was doing it.
I'll tell you my calculator. I was like, hold up.
I thought you was doing it. But yeah, it's like 997,500.
Yeah,
if I'm not
right that ballpark,
it's something like that. That's the profit they made. So 997,500 in profit. Meanwhile, you made $1,500. That is a very, very, very big difference in profit, my friends.
Yeah,
very, very big.
Yeah, you basically took out a student loan, except, this time Sally Mae just wants you to take more classes because they see you like you gonna keep going back to school. Like, basically.
Basically, like a class, bro. A class for the next 15 years.
Right, like... Keep taking classes. Keep taking classes. That's more money in our pocket.
Come on, man. So you really got to ask yourself, do I want some quick money, some quick profits right now? Or in the next 2 to 3 years, do I want multiples of that? And that's really where it's going to come from. That's really where the changing of the guard, the changing, and I feel like our main decision making when it comes to signing with labels. That's really where that's gonna come from when you consider those type of things.
Who do you think, like, personally, like, just off, like, just seeing how you in the marketing realm and also just knowing hip hop, who do you feel like in the hip hop community is a good representation of just making the right decisions with their with their deals, just with their music and their money? Like, Kanye. Yeah.
Kanye, it's not even a competition either. It's not. It's a reason why Kanye is that 6-point-something billionaire. Like, the way he does his marketing and the way he, like, if you think from 2000 shit, I don't even know when he first started working with Jay-Z, but
like
whatever
05,
year that was.
Yeah. Or probably before that.
Probably, I think, yeah, like way before that, because
like
College Dropout came out in 04.
Yeah,
so
probably like 02 or 03 maybe.
Yeah. Shit, I wouldn't even be surprised before that. It was like 1999 or 2000. But basically, all I'm saying is, like, bruh, from the jump, since he started, Kanye has made amazing decision after amazing decision after amazing decision after amazing. Like, bruh, he started as a producer, then worked his way up just to get one album out, knocked it out the park, put another album out, even better than the first one, in my personal opinion. Put a third album out that put him on a whole nother platform because he was competing with the number one rapper at the time, 50 Cent. Mm-hmm. And then changed his whole perspective on music with 808s. And then he started heavily involved in, well, then he was already really heavily involved in fashion, but he really put his foot to the fire with his little Nike deals and shit like that with his shoes and stuff. So, I mean, like, you can see from the jump, he's using one platform to help him out with another, and then another platform to help him out. And that's really what rap should be about, because that's how you grow generational wealth. And that's why I say Kanye, because, again, he used producing to help him now get more famous, which he know he's going to need later on in life. He's going to need that fame and notoriety to influence people to help him buy his clothes. So it's like he had this big ass vision and plan already set out that is like level by level, he's going to get help with the next thing he kind of do. So yeah, I definitely do feel like Kanye probably is that guy. Now, I say when it comes to business wise regarding his deals and shit, I'm talking about solely his music deals. I'm not too sure if he's probably the best example. I'll probably say, probably Master P.
Yeah.
If I really had to think, solely because Master P, like the deal he had, if you really look at the deals of music artists, that shit is still unheard of to this day. The fact that he was able to own a lot of his shit and still get an advance out of the label is insane. Like, you would have thought he put a fucking gun to the people's head.
Yeah, he had like an 80-20 deal or some shit, like some wild shit. I was like, what? He had that type of deal and still had an advance. Like, that's crazy. Like,
but
then gave him the rights to all the No Limit masters. I'm like, bro, you know how many artists is under No Limit, bro? Like,
come on, man. Come on. And that's literally how you do it. And a lot of people tried to take that blueprint. Hell, Kanye tried to do it with good music, but once Master P did that shit, these labels like, oh, we ain't letting these niggas do no shit like this again. So they wound up being a subsidiary under Def Jam. Mm-hmm. Good Music, I'm talking about, of course, which is a major label, which, of course, gives them major control over the content and the type of stuff they do. Master P didn't have to worry about that, which is why he was able to release an album damn near once a month.
Right. Album, movies, so, like just whatever the fuck
Come
you
on,
want.
man.
Like,
Exactly. So, yeah, bro, like the control, I feel like is a lot of the things these people really aren't really considering. And that really brings me to kind of the finish. I just realized we didn't even finish our last clip. And I forgot to mention too, this clip is coming. This clip is coming courtesy of the Hip Hop Madness YouTube channel. Of course, we're gonna be putting the credit in the show notes so y'all can watch the full video.
shout out to them.
Of course. And yeah, we're gonna be going back into what basically do the labels do with the stuff that they promise these artists. We just gonna finish
As for how they do it, defined as a sum of money given by the label to the artist for them to live off of while producing an album, which then has to be paid back from sales of that album before any royalties can be claimed. The common perception is that they've awarded the funds to you, and from then on, they're at your disposal. Considered to be the budget for your record, it'd be expected that this was yours to do with what you'd like. But in reality, there are ways in which a major will step in and drain your cash reserves, leaving you with little or nothing to show for it by the end of the recording process. Or in the most duplicitous of circumstances, funnel your cash into another artist that's popping at the time. I seen that I was tied to another artist, Waka Flocka Flame said of his time at Warner. Most of my budget money is going to the one that put more money in. They enter, you get hot, we throw the money. If you don't have the record that's buzzing, they don't care, you're flipped.
And yeah, that's basically how it go. You get hot, we gonna throw the money your way. And as he just said, these labels, they so fucking crazy. Bruh, they'll sit up here and literally take your money and give it to a whole nother person on the label just because you ain't hot right now. And that's basically exactly what they was talking about. The Waka Flocka example, they was like, well, I got this big ass advance and this was still in my budget. But the label was like, well, you ain't popping right now, so we gonna put this shit towards I don't know who else is on Roscoe Dash or whatever whoever the hell was on this label at the time.
For real. Travis Porter or somebody.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly. Like we gonna put that shit towards something that we know we gonna get our ROI on, even if they promised you the money, bro. Like that's how really crazy this shit is.
right in your face too. Like, oh yeah, okay.
Right in your face. Like, and you ain't gonna even know until you see a Roscoe Dash music video and you like, damn, bro, they in Dubai? Shit.
How they got
Damn, man. How they got there? How the fuck they got there? How they got on them camels? Yeah, you gonna learn. You gonna fucking learn why when you go back to that recording booth.
For real.
But yeah, bro, like it's really crazy just how wild these labels is. And just, you know, as far as just what they be promising these people. And like, that really kind of brings me to our next clip where they're going to be really talking about how does these labels really control the artist? Because that example right there could really piss somebody off, of course. You know, I'm talking about somebody promising an artist a certain amount of money in their budget, in their advance, and they give it to another artist because they popping it hot. And I'm sure, you know, that'll make the artist maybe want to speak out against that label.
Right.
But a lot of them don't because they're under such control. It's like, damn, these people could ruin my whole life and career.
Right, drop you like a dime. All right. Throw you back to SoundCloud. Go do something with that.
Go do exactly. Go back to working that fucking SoundCloud link, you hear me? Yeah, bro, it get crazy.
You have leverage with somebody when they're always in debt, when you're financing their career more than they've made. You know what a label does when an artist you have recouped? They offer you more money. Oh, so we gave you $1 million for your first album, and damn, you blew that out of the water. Yo, we'll give you...
And just to pause that right quick, this is actually DJ Academics.
I fuck with that.
I fuck. I ain't gonna lie. It's a balance for me. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But this, of course, is Academics, courtesy of Hip Hop Madness, the YouTube channel I just mentioned, and of course, still gonna put a credit in the show notes. But just to pause that, I just wanted to tell y'all exactly what DJ Academics was mentioning. He was basically saying that these labels, they control them by if they recoup. So if they actually go about the business of going back to our example, me and Brandon, of course, if I give him the $2,500 and he recoups that by going platinum, then guess what I'll do? oh, damn, Brendan, you know what, bro? You did a real good job. That record that you just gave me, dog, I ain't even blew it out the fucking water. You the man. I'm going to go ahead and give you these little plaques that you got, you know, so you can hang it on your wall. Oh, and also, do you want an extra $5 million? You want another $5 million, bro? Because I could make that happen. You want that? And that's literally. Oh, you know. I saw that that new Rolls Royce that the baby got, and then I'll just show you some pictures on Instagram of the baby flaunting with his gold teeth, his VVs in his mouth, with the drop top.
You feel me?
And then that make you a little bit envious, and then of course I throw that $5 million check in your face. Give you another advance. And that's basically what Academics was just saying. That's how these labels do that. That's how they maintain control and power. Once you recoup and make the money back for them, then of course they're going to offer you even more money, similar to what credit companies do.
Right.
When a credit company sees that you're making more money, then guess what they do? They increase your credit line. And that's exactly what labels do. They increase your credit line by giving you more of a budget, more money to basically splurge on. That way, you, of course, need them to get another advance. And that way, they can continue control over you. Because, again, you won't make any money from your music until they recoup now that $5 million advance that you just accepted. Another one.
No DJ Khaled.
There you go.
Five right now. What's up? They're going to drown you in debt. The label's job is to drown you in debt. Royalty payments, the split on it between the artist and the label is different when the artist is in debt than when the artist has recouped.
Barring the financial red.
Exactly. So again, those royalties, like he was just mentioning, they're much different. If you still owe me money from my $5 million advance I just gave you, you could only probably be making 0.00035 of that 99 cents that song makes. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, I'm making damn near the full 99 cents. You making half of a penny. You making 1/3 of a penny.
1/3.
And I'm making, come on, man, this shit crazy as hell. You making 1/3 of a penny. Meanwhile, I'm making 98 cents off of that song. All because you accepted that second advance, and that means you still owe me money, basically. Meanwhile, if you had already recouped and you gave me my money back, then it can now turn into maybe a 50-50 or an 80-20, depending on, of course, how you negotiated the deal before the advance. So, it's some slave shit damn near.
Yeah.
You think, bro.
Definitely some mind control, definitely some situation control, like in a lot of this. And it's just so sad that it's us, our community. It's how they treat us, bro. Like, we going to use you for what you're good for. When we see you ain't good enough for nothing, we going to go to the next nigga. Like,
dude, young or old, bro. Young or old, it don't even matter, bro. Don't even matter. And that's the craziness. Because you think at least about time nigga turn 50 or 60, y'all going to at least try and,
right, like you don't
be a
hear
little
about,
bit just felt.
Right, you don't hear about label issues and with rock bands and country artists. Like, dang, come on, bro. Like, let people get their money up front.
Hell no. And that really brings me to, of course, just one of the examples from our younger generation of hip hop artistry is actually going to be coming from. Have you ever heard of Untitled Chapter?
Yeah.
So it's going to be coming from a wise tweet from our good brother, Untitled Chapter. And he basically going to be talking about just a little bit of his own personal label issues. And the crazy thing about Untitled Chapter is he actually touts being an independent artist. However, the word independence is a bit blurred nowadays.
Very blurred.
As Chance the Rapper.
Very saturated.
Exactly. And the tweet reads like this. I'm going all the way back independent myself after this album. Even though I own my own music, it's time for us to start 100% owning our craft. Time for us to start pushing new agendas instead of the same with us killing our own when we got a bigger problem on our hands. And that, my friend, is Untitled Chapter, who I don't even think he like 20. I don't even think he's 21 yet. So this dude is damn near just a kid. And look how he thinking. So that tells me something. That tells me that he isn't the only one thinking like this.
Right, he thinking ahead. Like, he trying to be like, man, I'm trying to get profit for gains. Like, not only for now, but for later, too. Like,
and he said something so poignant. He was like, time for us to start pushing a new agenda instead of the same with us killing our own.
yeah.
Because we got a bigger problem. And that really makes me think, well, hold on now. Ding, 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 ding. Hold on, wait. Let me drive. Hold on, whoa. So that makes me think there's an agenda being pushed, because he just said it.
Yeah.
What fucking agenda is being pushed? Well, let's just reread that last line again.
I wonder.
Time for us to start pushing a new agenda instead, keyword, instead of the same with us killing our own. And I'm like, oh. So not only is he acknowledging that there's an agenda being pushed, but he knows that there is labels that literally wants to see us kill our own.
Oh, yeah.
And rap about this shit.
Condoning it. Like,
so he's fully cognizant of that.
They been condoning that 100%. That's why I wouldn't, like, think about it. Like, street rap really just blew up. Well, I ain't gonna say it blew up, but street rap became, like, poignant, like, not too long ago. Like, it's everywhere now. It's the new thing. Like, you know, we went from trap, we went to kind of like this poppy, singy rap, and it's like we were talking about in the beginning of the podcast, like, you know, the transitions and the why does hip hop change so much? And like now we're kind of going back to the streets now. Like literally, we're going right back to the streets. Because it's
big
selling.
facts.
Because like look, like you see what's going on now. All these rappers are dying, man. Like left and right.
And literally, what's going on in music is a direct representation of what's going on in real life.
Like this shit really happening.
As you just mentioned, and it's so crazy. As you just mentioned, the minute we started going back into the quote unquote streets, as far as, you know, the main culture, the main thing being pushed in rap nowadays, especially by these labels, the minute we started going in that direction, there's been more murders in every major city. Literally every major city. That's not a coincidence.
Literally.
More rappers have been dying over the last 2 to 3 years. And that's been happening in every major city. That's a coincidence. That's coincidence, people think. Also, have been more like just more crimes in general. Like, bro, more people losing their cars because niggas jacking that shit. More motherfuckers getting robbed. Like saying, regardless of what it is, whatever crime you won't name, it's just been more of that shit as the music changed. And it leads me into thinking, well, damn, before that, it was more so about, you know, people was talking conscious about their feelings. Feeling rap and mood rap, I'll say, was very dominant in the early 2010s. So like from 2010 to like 2015, like I said, about time Drake had dropped that, If You're Reading This Is Too Late, it was all mood rap. Everybody was talking about their feelings. Everybody was talking about their mood. Everybody was talking about either that or it was party. Like those two things. Those are like the main two things that was going on. But when that shit changed, real life changed. Like clearly. As you could see when they started talking about, you know, mood and being in their feelings and shit, that's when more people start getting aware of their mental health. Yeah. That kind of been a hot topic over the last 10 years now.
That's when that started, you know, becoming this thing. Like, okay, like everybody's into the sad music. Man, we just had an episode about like this. There was so much sad. The pill popping like music was so like dangerous. Like not too long ago. Bruh. Like, you know, with the whole XX Tentacion, Trippie Reds and all them and Lil Xans and Lil Peeps and all them. Like
Juice
WRLD, bro. It was like even Young Boy, like when he was doing this, like it was like, bro, like it's dude. Like the depression was real in music at one point.
And I don't even think it stopped personally. Like right. You could hear Waukesha. What you think Waukesha about? This man is literally talking about his addiction to lean throughout, and he says it throughout the entire song. Wow. That's literally all he's like. I've never seen a song talk about liquid heroin, because that's all lean is. Right. Liquid heroin, bro, for almost 3 minutes straight and nothing else, literally nothing else, and the nigga acknowledge it and it still become a hit. And then that goes to now when I saw that shit happen, I'm like, oh yeah, they definitely got an agenda being pushed now, because this is fucking insane.
Hell yeah. Then he pouring up the lean in the song. I'm like, damn, okay. Like, you just don't give a fuck. Okay.
when the shit started. And I mean, that ain't nothing new. I ain't trying to act like it's some new shit because we know Pimp C, we know Wayne, we know DJ Screw. All these people been doing this for years, decades now. But I'm talking about, we never heard Wayne drop a song about lean, talking about how much he love it, and then openly admitted that he addicted to it mad times in the song, and it still become a hit. Like, we never seen no shit like that, fam. At least me.
I ain't never seen him like really go that like that hard into it. I'm like, okay, like what the fuck?
Right. And I'm like, dude, like this shit is actually really insane that this nigga is rapping about addiction and talking about how he like it on a hit.
Literally.
And it's getting pushed. Literally. And it's getting pushed. And I'm like, son,
even
if who they think listen to rap? Who the hell they think listen to rap?
We think listen to this all day, every day. What you think? What, like these kids? What you think they gonna do?
Exactly, bro.
Got their mind on
that's and that really leads me. And this is kind of a side note. I ain't even much gonna go too far into this. But this is the first time, bro. And I want to ask you this too. This is the first time I heard about lean, dog. First time I heard about lean, I had to been like 13, 14 maybe. No, yeah. I was 14 years old. I was in the 9th grade. Either that or I was just starting the 10th grade. And this dude, I ain't gonna say his name, but this nigga, we was in the bathroom, bro. Dude at the urinal next to me. You ever heard of Buy Cologne?
Nah, I never heard of it.
So Buy Cologne is similar to Axe. And it just imagine like a little Axe cologne container. Something probably like this big, like maybe about 4-5 inches tall. Bro, I'm at the urinal using the bathroom. So the dude, of course, he, using the bathroom next to me. Bro, I see this nigga out of nowhere take out the little Buy container, unscrew the cap, which is, again, y'all imagine it's like an Axe container, like a little Axe body spray container, unscrewing the cap, taking out the little spray thing, and then start drinking it.
No, huh?
So when I see a nigga doing that, like, mind you, we still at the urinal pissing. So I'm looking at him too. I'm like, hey, bro, what the hell you doing? And he looked at me like, nah, son, this ain't. He like, nah, son, this ain't no body spray, bro. This lean, son, this lean. I'm like, oh yeah, what the fuck is lean? And he explained it to me and shit. And then he offered it to me. I'm like, my nigga, I'm not drinking nothing out no fucking body spray container. I was like, right. I'm like, bro, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Right.
Like,
you must think I'm crazy. Like,
dude. And this is before, again, like, I barely even know what lean is and shit. And, dude, I kid you not, bro, like, dude, words slurred bad like a mo. I mean, you know what lean do, basically. Mm-hmm. So, it's just so funny, son, just really looking and seeing in retrospect 10 years, 15 years later, well, really about 10 years later, how lean really kind of took over.
Right. We still like talking about, like, we still like, rapping about like syrup, like scissor, like it's still like so potent. Like it's almost like it's on the same realm as chains and jewelry. Like you gotta have jewelry, you gotta have syrup, and you gotta have bitches. Like,
dude. And even J. Cole rapping about this shit. I just poured something in my cup. I've been wanting something I can feel. What y'all think that's about?
That definitely ain't liquor.
What y'all think this nigga trying to feel? He ain't drinking no fucking scotch. This nigga is not talking about no Hennessy, my nigga.
At all. No Crown Royal, no Parmesan, none of that.
Come on, man. This nigga is not talking about no rosé. And bro, it's just crazy how accepted this shit is. Literally liquid heroin. Liquid heroin. Well, I mean, heroin is already a liquid, I guess. But yeah, it's drinkable heroin.
Drinkable, literally.
It's just fucking crazy.
And whatever color you want. You want purple, you want yellow, you want green, what you want?
Whatever, bro.
You want it on
whatever
rocks?
Color you want, bro. On the rocks, you're crazy.
Double cup or triple cup? Which one?
But yeah, dog, like it really just puts it into perspective when we think about the agenda again at these labels trying to push, because it's clear as day, as we just mentioned, they pushing this shit. It's getting more and more, like you said, drug culture, like pill poppers and songs and shit. Bro, it was only that heavy over the last 5-10 years now. Before 2010, we never heard people rapping about popping pills.
Right.
Not even Wayne.
Right.
And Wayne was like the #1 drug rapper.
Literally.
So, I mean, it's like, well, where did that come from? Pills and potions. It's all on the... Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
Ever since that one song came out, everybody, bro. And it's like, dude, this is just crazy. It's crazy, the agenda, bro. And that really leads me to asking our next question. Do you feel like, and not really do you feel like, but why is there only songs that brag about, say, murder in the same race? And do you feel like, well, I won't even ask you, do you feel like, because it's really self-explanatory. I know you feel like this. Why do you feel like it's coming from black people and why it's pushed by labels for the most part? Because no other race really brags about killing their own race. At least I haven't heard it personally myself.
Yeah. Oh man, I think it goes, back to just institutional, just control. Like even beyond rap, like just institution of just how they have a hold on the community. Like this is our reality. At the end of even outside of this music shit, like it really does happen. Like in our communities, like just killing our own, robbing from our own, stealing from our own. Like it's just some real shit, and just like putting it in the music only makes the narrative more, I guess, more real. To the public. It's like, okay, like this stuff really does happen. You see it on the news, you see it on social media, and it's just like, dang, man, like, we kind of always ask ourselves, why us, or why do we keep killing our own, or why do we, keep doing this to ourselves? And I think the question to to refute that is just like, all right, why, how did we even get here? Like, why, what really is the reason why we're here? What really is the reason why we're killing our own? What is the reason why, it is our own? Because they want it to be us. Because they have the control of us. They have that that advantage of us. Because they know they can box us in this corner to where all right, it's gonna be black people against their own, because it's always been,
crabs in a barrel.
Yeah, crabs in a barrel, man. Like it just goes back to that point. Like it's just a strategy they have, and they know they can. And once they can monetize off it, and see they can profit for gain off of it, like it becomes like a whole new thing of its own. Like it's in the labels. Like these labels are basically just the modern day slave owners. That's true. Like they really are just the modern day slave owners. Like they control they control who you are. They have a certain image of what you look like. They sell you. Like they pretty much they buy you. They buy you in and out. Like they put you could go anywhere between any other label, like kind of like plantations. Like you want to go here, you want to go there. Like, you want to sign this deal. All right, you want to leave that person. All right, go there. It's like, but you're going to keep going back to the labels. Like you got to, just being kind of going back to being a slave. Like, all right, you still going to be a nigga. Like, are you going to go back to the plantation, or are you going to go back to where you came from? And then we're going to keep, going back and forth these labels. We just keep going back to the plantation. If you want to be independent, all right, just come back to where you came from. And that's just kind of just where everybody's trying to go back to where they came from with this independent shit. So, yeah, man.
And dude, I couldn't have said that shit any better myself. These labels are basically slave owners. And best believe your favorite artist, your favorite rapper, your favorite musician is a slave. Mm-hmm. And if you don't believe me, look at how they complain when they ain't getting enough money, just like a slave. You want to know why I say it's just like a slave? It's because at the end of the day, if the record label tell them, hey, shut the fuck up and go back in that studio and make me some more music, guess what they gonna do? Shut the fuck up, go back in that studio and make another album. and that's exactly what we see time and time again when we see these people complaining on Twitter, complaining on whatever it may be. Oh, they ain't give me my money yet, ain't give me my money. And then a week later, they dropping a single. Literally. What you think that's about? Literally. That's the label calling them and saying, hey, bro, what the fuck you doing? Do you want your money back or not? Shut the fuck up and go and make me another song now. And that's exactly what they do.
True, man.
Bro. And if that ain't slavery, you can't tell me what is. Because at the end of the day, these people know, and by these people, I'm talking about these musicians, they know that, oh, it's too late for me to get a normal job. It's too late for me to do this, that, and the third. So I kind of have to do what they telling me to do because I didn't sold my soul to these people, basically. I can't make money on my own now from my music because, again, I sold my soul to them. It's basically their mindset.
Right.
And you know, that really, it really is crazy just considering that you got so many people who they influence, you know, knowing that they are controlled by an entity. Just like really a lot of the media companies that we listen to, like CNN, Fox News, fucking NBC, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, like any media company, NPR, that's popular right now, they're controlled. You want to know who they controlled by? These pharmaceutical companies that always run ads every single time they go to break. That's who control them. They control by whoever they're sponsored by. When they say sponsored by Pfizer, that's who they control by. So, you know, it's just like who we get our information from, also who we get our music from. They all controlled by these major corporations, these major entities, because if they step out of line, that's when the money stop coming in, and then that's when they can't provide. So guess what? They got to step right back in line. And yeah, I mean, before, you know, I feel like a lot of these people was popular. They didn't necessarily consider that, of course. So that's why I want to make it, you know, make them seem like they're not human when I say they sold. But at the end of the day, you got to know what the territory comes with.
Yeah, man, it's basically like, hey, yeah, you sold pretty much. Hey, that's really what it is. At the end of the day, like you basically, you know, sold away your rights or sold away who you are, you know, to somebody who don't even know you from the back of your ass. Like
exactly.
It's just really, really crazy.
It's so crazy.
And
really, oh, what you about to say?
I was just saying, like, I think now that's why I'm like, you know, we're in this weird space because, man, so many people are just disgruntled, or just so many people are just upset, like, or probably just upset in their label situation, or just upset just in their careers because they don't have any leverage or have any, you know, creative control. I would say that's probably the biggest thing with the artists. Like, you know, they don't even have creative control of their content.
Nope.
And, you know, it's just, that's probably the best thing about social media, like, because you get to see it for what it is, you know, really, like, for what it is, the conversations that, you know, you probably couldn't even talk about when we were kids, like, you know, like with the whole CD era, the iPod era, like, you know, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what labels were. We didn't know, you know, what a record sale was, or what Sony is. Like, you know, it's just what it was. Like, you know, you're just putting out the music and you're just enjoying the moment. But now, you know, it's more than just enjoying the moment. Now we have to, like, really, like, see or have accessible, like, news to just everything that's going on in the world, like, within the music community. Like, now you get to see, like, you know, what really goes on and what's really how people feel. And it's kind of fucked up, man, because, like, it starts to feel like, all right, like, where exactly is music headed? Like, are these record labels eventually going to die off because everybody's probably just going to leave? Or is it just like, that's what I said. Like, I don't think these record labels going anywhere, you know, until something drastic happens, until somebody creates a platform or just they make a shift to where, like, all right, like, F this, like, this is where everybody needs to go. And I don't think even when it's really,
bro, they'll not to cut you off, but they'll figure out that platform.
Right.
They'll figure out that platform. They'll figure out whatever they need to figure out because they have such an upper hand.
Yeah.
They have the marketing. They have the lawyers. They have the advertisers. They have the songwriters. They have the history. They have literally from top to bottom everything you need.
Literally.
Like, you can't think of something that they don't have. When you have all of that and more, and the financial backing, whatever thing you think you're gonna invent, whatever app you think you're gonna get, they're gonna seize control within maybe 5 to 10 months because they're so like, bro, it's just too much at play and at stake. And that, of course, is why I feel like we all really need to be careful as to what we support and give attention to, which is exactly why I'm asking everyone again just to take a quick second and look at, of course, the app that you're listening to this on. Leave a review, subscribe, tell us what you like, tell us what you didn't like, and then just consider how you gonna give some value back. Especially if you think that the first hour and a half of me and Brennan discussing this topic with you all was valuable. Just consider how you gonna give it back. Look at our payment options. Of course, we definitely do got the ShiftMakers PayPal, Venmo, and also a CashApp for you. Just consider what you're going to give back. Also consider how you're going to support the Weauxdie podcast. Check out the link we got in the description. Definitely do subscribe. Of course, listen to his podcast on any of the apps you listening to it on. Leave a review. All of that's going to be extremely valuable to Brendan too, of course. And yeah, just consider how you're going to leave value and how you're going to support, you know.
Make the shift. For real.
There you go. And again, that brings us back to our main question that we really kind of had. Why is the songs that brag about murder in the same race from black people come from black people, I meant to say? And of course, why are they pushed by labels?
I think the labels tell you what's hot and what they want to hear. And once you go against that grain, then they don't want you. It's like, and that's why I think that's why they're so hell bent on these street rappers are so hell bent on like, you know, these up and coming like just street artists. Like they're just signing them left and right. Like, you know,
left and right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the hip hop right now, just so like so saturated into like, you know, the street gang. Like it's man. I mean, it's not I'm gonna say it's a bad thing, but you know, it's kind of having a bad outcome on the community. You know what I'm saying? Like this stuff still is real life. You know, in and out of this stuff. Exactly. Like, you know, like rappers are going to jail. Like people are dying in that camp.
It's like, influence.
Like it's going fucking
so
crazy.
Much influence. And yeah, bro, like I agree with you. It just is these people really not truly understanding the power that they have and the influence that they have. And they just seeing it as, of course, they gonna get their advance, they gonna get their check, they gonna get their re-up. When in all actuality, hey, bro, you ruining some shit, yeah. Just like when people were selling drugs, when people were selling crack in the 80s. People, of course, they getting their check, then they gonna get their re-up. Well, not their check, but you know, they gonna get, of course, they profits, I say, and then of course they're gonna get their re-up. But at the end of the day, look at what you ruining. So that brings us, of course, to our clip, and this is gonna be coming from our very, very good partners at the Mo Facts podcast, and it's actually a clip by this guy named White Mike. And let's see.
But we do have black people that get on the radio every day in white-owned companies, white-owned stations with white-owned sponsors that play the role of hypersexualized, hypercriminalized male. I ask these advertisers, I say, I've got 100.
And I know he talking fast, and I know he a white guy talking about this shit. But y'all know I never play clips unless I do really, truly feel like it's very poignant and it is going to make an impact on your thinking. So definitely listen all the way through.
Hundreds of songs a day that celebrate killing animals. Will you put them on your station? They said, no. I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about assaulting women and abusing kids. Would you put them on your station? They said, no. I said, I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about murdering blacks. Would you put them on your stations? They said, well, that depends.
Well, that depends.
Ooh, that depends.
Craziness. Craziness. And this is coming from a white guy. Remember now, he's going around asking labels, hey, if I have a song that's talking about killing nothing but white people all day, would you put this on your stations? Hell no. If I have a song that's talking about murdering white women and baby and Asian people, would you put them on your stations? Hell no. If I have a song that's talking about killing black people all day, would you put them on your stations? Well, that depends. And listen to what he says.
That depends.
Depends on what? Who it's done by and who it's branded for. Because if we can get black folks to sing about it, we can brand it for our youngest black audiences, I think there's money to be made. I think there's American appetites to see these people that way. I said, how?
Craziness. I think there's American appetites. Notice how he said American appetites. He didn't just say black. He did not just say black. He said there's American appetites looking to see these people that way.
How can you say that? They said, well, look, it's what these artists know. It's what they, black people, create. It's, matter of fact, our surveys say it's what they want to hear, which speaks of a sickness. How do we live?
And it's what our survey analytics say black people want to hear. basically, when we go to their followers, like I mentioned earlier, their Instagram followers, their subscribers on SoundCloud, all of that, when we go into the comments and we read their comments on SoundCloud, it's what they want to hear. Oh, this shit fire. Oh, this shit amazing. Oh, he went hard. Oh, it's what they want to hear. This is what they're looking at. This is exactly what they're looking at.
Live in a society where somebody says, you know what, I'm inspired to write a song that celebrates murdering another person. And then a person says, I'd like to put that on my station. Another person said, I'd like to pay for it. And then there's people out here in the audience that go, I'd love to hear it, as long as it's black guys. Because even white people buy rap music, buy this type of stuff, because we know that when we want to hear about killing each other, we know who to turn to for that.
And that right there. That I left that part in a clip on purpose because that shit is the most damning thing about everything he just said. He just said, white people, we love to hear that shit. Every race, they actually love to hear it, which is why you see Asian people being gangsters now. You got, they already been gangsters, but I'm talking about like the rap style gangsters. Mm-hmm. When you got that type of appetite coming from everybody, like he mentioned, all Americans, they want to hear that shit, but they don't make it. But they know who to turn to when they want to hear it.
Telling part, they know who to turn to.
Exactly. And that right there is the damning part. 'Cause it's like, damn. So they know that shit fucks. They know that shit fucks up the community, which is why they say we don't want to make it. They know that shit influences people, which is why they say they don't want to push it. But they know who to turn to when they want to listen to it because they feel like they still have an appetite. That's crazy, bro.
Damn, bro. that kind of had me like, shit. Moment of silence for that.
And I tend to do that with a lot of my guests. I tend to do that with a lot. Actually, almost, I don't think there have been one guest where I haven't got a little nice moment of silence after playing a clip like this.
Moment of silence. Damn, man.
Yeah, bro. And we only got a couple more clips left. We almost done, everybody. We getting towards the end of things, about to wrap things up. But it brings us to our next question, our next clip. Why aren't white crimes, violence pushed to us by the labels like those trap songs are?
Oh, man. Why? Moment of silence, people.
And I mean,
but yeah, man.
Personally,
it's bro. Personally, this, I guess, why aren't white crimes, bro? Oh my god. Kind of just like what dude was saying, like they know who to turn to because they know what community is gonna affect at the end of the day, because they know what's the reality within that community. Know like who are the people, who are really the people affected, because these are the people actually gonna go out and do it. White crimes. White crimes. They're always gonna get sweeps under the rug. Like you can't really monetize off of what a white crime is. Like for white guys to talk about killing another white guy or something like that. That's kind of extreme. Like that's kind of like, all right, what you really talking about? Like you talking like on some like some mass shooting shit or like some school shooter or like some mafia type shit, because that's kind of like when you think think of like a white person like killing, like you go to that extent, and it's just like with black people, it's like, oh, like black people do that all the time. They kill each other every day, like.
And like, that's and you honestly just read a little bit more into the clip that I'm about to play, so you you went a little bit into the future, you hear me? But it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I truly do agree with you, bro, when it comes to the psychological aspect, I feel, of how white crimes are pushed. And it's crazy that you say that, the difference, because white people, they murder.
Oh, yeah.
White people kill. White people be killing each other. Don't get me wrong. Oh, yeah. Actually, if you look at the numbers, more white people has been killed by white people than black people has been killed by black people, I think. But of course, that's because there's a bigger population of white people. I mean, let's just be honest.
And then the media controls the narrative too. Like the media's going, always going to talk about the black community more than the white community. So it's like,
of course,
there's always that.
And that's exactly why we doing these media companies. But yeah, bro, I I definitely do feel like it has a lot to do with the psychological aspect of it. We as a people are comfortable with Black Death. We as a people are comfortable. If you look at YouTube, if you look at Instagram, if you look at Twitter, the only videos you see of someone getting shot or someone getting basically killed is Black people.
All the time.
If a white person, and don't get me wrong, white people, they kill people. They'll run over somebody in a car, or they'll do a school shooting, or they'll do whatever it is. It ain't even got to be that. White people just kill people out of revenge and shit, just like Black people. But my whole thing, out of retaliation, just like Black people. But my whole thing is, why don't Twitter take down the Black people videos? It's because they trying to get us used to Black Death. Seeing Black, like still to this day, you can find videos of Black people getting shot and killed on Twitter, on social media platforms. But if a white person, if that was a white person, it immediately gets taken down. It immediately gets blocked. It immediately says, oh, you can't view this. The viewer has blocked whatever it may need that they need to do. And that tells me something. It tells me, damn. Like
media control.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Media is pushing Black Death to our faces, and we don't even realize it. We just cool with watching the videos, or we just cool with just desensitizing ourselves to seeing Black people laying on the concrete.
And even kind of like to make it to reel back to the point we was about the music, it's like we're so comfortable with talking about death within our community, and like we kind of glorify death in our community in a way. Like we're always talking about our dead homies. We're always talking about, we always like, you know, making tribute songs. Like, you know, we're always talking about like, oh damn, like my homie ain't here no more. Like this, like it's like, bruh, it's just so acceptable and so comfortable to the point where it's like it's kind of expected. You know, as a rapper or just as a, you know, I guess in the hip hop community, I was just saying the hip hop community, it's just so accepted in that realm. Like, you know, death is probably just a given. And it's just so sad because it's like you were saying, like it's white, like if you was to incorporate white crimes or just white death in music, it's just a whole different feel or just a whole different like approach or situation because white people are not going to talk about that. Like they're not going to glorify it. They're not going to like, you know, expound upon it. They're not even going to like, they don't beef in that music. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we're the only ones that actually like make it theatrical. Like it's really for the theatrics and for like, you know, for the consumer. And it's just, it's really like, it's kind of crazy when you kind of just think about it. Cause it's like, you know, you think about like, you know, just beef in general. Like it's really just antics and theatrics, but it's real deal, real life shit. You know, like when somebody do die from it, it's like, oh, like, damn, that's fucked up. Like RIP. And then here comes a song like 24 hours later, like, you know, about this. It's real fucked up. But like you said, like, you know,
and I'm gonna give you an example of that. I'm gonna give you an example of that shit, bro. I remember when I was at Nichols, this 2015, 2016, Dolph and Black Youngster was beefing. Dolph and Black Youngster was beefing. Heavy beefing. I'm talking like if you know, you know, basically.
If you know, you know.
I'm sure we heard about that 100 shots that got sent. You know, way. So basically, yeah, bro. Basically, they dropping songs, they dropping diss records. We all heard that Black Youngster song. Well, pussy nigga who gonna shake something, we gonna say something. You ain't gonna do it, little nigga. You ain't gonna do it, little nigga. That obviously was a diss song. Man, that song was played in clubs. That song was played everywhere. Guess who he dissing? Young Dolph. Fast forward, and everybody celebrated that song. You know, they like literally Black Youngster talking about, you know. So 5 years later, something actually happens to Young Dolph. Guess what? Now people talking about that. Of course, the beef that they had in those diss records. But it's like, bruh, 5 years ago, we was all just celebrating those diss records and singing them in a club and shit.
Then they tried to like scrutinize them, Black Youngster, for performing in a club. I'm like, bro, like beef is still alive at the end of the day. Like you can't tell me what I can and can't rap about. Like when the shit was really going down. Like nah, like
like, bro, y'all was literally just singing along with him less than 5 years ago. Now all of a sudden, y'all don't want to, and y'all scrutinizing them because, and I ain't trying to defend the man for that shit, of course, because look what we talking about. But all I'm saying is, you can't have both sides.
Right? You can't
have both sides. You can't have your cake and eat the shit too. You got to figure out what you want. If you sick and tired of these niggas shooting at each other and killing each other, then be mad at the beef songs. Be mad when these niggas take that shit too far in the beef songs and they actually start talking about real beef and beef songs.
Right.
Be mad at that shit too. Don't rap along to the shit in the club. Because when something actually something real life happens like it did, and shit turn up like it did, then you're going to be sitting like, oh, damn, R.I.P., R.I.P. Dang, why they did that? Dang, he was a real one. And it's like, bruh, you literally was just singing in the club about a diss song that referenced killing the dude that you now R.I.P. Like, just think about how twisted that shit is. Just think about that shit, son.
Crazy.
And now that he actually dead, now it's all rest in peace. But it was like, nigga, you just was singing to the song talking about killing a nigga. What the fuck?
Literally.
Like, just talking about the shit. I mean, like, it's, bro, that's how twisted and brainwashed they have us, though. To think that shit cool. And that shit go back all the way to Hit 'Em Up.
Yep.
Hit 'Em Up with Pac.
Yep.
Niggas was singing and Hit 'Em Up, and then the minute Biggie died.
Yep.
Of course, Pac died first, but I'm just saying the minute Biggie died, oh man, Hit 'Em Up was too far. Oh, how you gonna say fuck? What he said? The fuck you, fat bitch. I fucked your wife or some shit like that in the first line. Oh, that was too far. I can't believe he said that. And it was like, nigga,
how far is too far?
Y'all was just singing to the song.
You feel me? Like, how far is really too far? Because it could really go there.
Exactly.
Like,
so that's what I'm saying. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Just like Gucci and Jeezy. We thought that versus battle was all kiki and giggles, but hey, man. When
he said, hey, I put that nigga in the dirt, then, hey, bro, then everybody looking around and starting to whistle and shit. And it was like,
hey, that was a serious moment. That he was for real. Like,
bro, niggas don't lose track of trauma like that. And again,
it ain't all sweet. You feel me?
Not at all. And that's what really puts us into perspective for our last clip of the day. Of course, just asking us, why aren't white crimes or violence being pushed to us by labels like these trap songs are?
Take it even further, because a lot of time racism exists in what we don't know and what we don't see.
And of course, this is another clip by our friend White Mike. I think he actually calls himself White Mike. But yeah, he's just gonna be again telling us about
are the white killers on the radio. Where are the white AK-47 shooters? Where are the white drug dealers? Where are the white people on the radio that brag about what it's like to murder witnesses before trial? The truth is they don't exist. And the question is why? Why don't they exist? Do white people not kill people? Do white people not use AK-47s to shoot each other? I mean, we know, do white people not do drugs? Do they not deal drugs? Of course they do. But why is it that it doesn't make it to our mainstream radio? Why is it that we don't hear it hundreds of times a day?
Why is it that when we go to Thanksgiving, our parents have heard the songs and our grandparents have heard the songs? Why isn't the case like that for white people?
Hundreds of cities across the nation, thousands of plays that say the idea that a black guy would kill another black guy is something to be celebrated, something to be romanticized.
Yeah, and it really leads us to asking that one question. Why is it not being pushed? Like, we know that white people do that shit, and I'm more than certain you have white rappers talking about that shit. Mm-hmm. But why aren't they popular? Why is it only Post Malone, that don't talk about shooting other white people? Like, we've only one rapper that we know one white rapper, I'll say, that we know is synonymous with being crazy, and that's Eminem.
Yeah.
One thing Eminem did not do, the only thing he did not do, he was talking about burning babies and cars and fucking murdering his wife and all that shit. But the one thing he did not do was talking about going around shooting at people, killing people, or whatever it may be. You want to know why? Because he couldn't say nigga.
Yep.
And that would have automatically had people assume that he was talking about white people.
And he knew exactly who his audience was, because at the end of the day,
and he know
who he is.
Exactly. Exactly. And he know that if he was to touch that third rail of saying, oh, yeah, you should, if your parents is pissing you off, just go grab the Glock. And if he was to touch that, he know that his career would be no longer because these labels wouldn't have pushed that shit.
Right. And Eminem, one of my favorite rappers, man. And that's probably just like, dang, just thinking back on that, it's like, shit, like Eminem really just wasn't, he didn't really like go that violent street route. He went toward like the mental crazy route. Like, all right, let me talk about fucking my wife or like strangling her to death. And like, we all, well, I don't know, you remember he made that song Kim about his ex-wife and he cheated on her?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, that's the song I was talking about.
Bruh, like I think that's the perfect.
That shit hard to listen to.
Yeah, that's the perfect example of like, you know, what I guess a white crime would be. You know, I'm gonna be a crazy like AK-47 rifle, like hillbilly driving, like type of like just psychotic basically. And it's like, dang,
exactly.
And it's like shit like that didn't really get no flack. You feel me? Like,
also, is a reason though you didn't hear Kim on the radio. I'm talking about that song in particular.
Yeah.
It was on one of his most popular albums, but that song never touched the radio.
Never touched the radio.
But I tell you what did touch the radio, a song like Stan. Another song where he was talking about being crazy, but he was more so talking about doing self-harm throughout the whole song. And of course he did harm his baby mama. I think that's what it was. It was like his, you know, the Stan dude wound up on his baby mama. But the whole time they was talking about self-harm. Mm-hmm. That, my friends, is a problem that white people have no problem pushing. You want to know how I know that? Look at rock songs. You want to know how I know that? Look at these heavy metal songs. Come on, man. Look at these punk songs. What you think of Nirvana and them was rapping about? I mean, not rapping, but, you know, making music about. So you see what I'm saying? These labels have no problem pushing self-harm to white people, which is why you see that's one of the number one things that afflicts white people. Come on, man. Because they know you can't tell me all of this is a coincidence.
They know exactly what category it goes to what group of people. Like, all right, let's keep killing in the street shit with the black people. Like that's their shit. Let's put the self-harm and the mental dysfunction and let's give that to our people to kind of make it like you know more surface level. Like let's not unveil the wounds of their their dirt, but we're gonna open the whole flesh wound on this community. Like,
Yep, and yup, bro. And same thing with the drugs, bro. Same thing with the drugs. Like, dude, you can't tell me there ain't more white people that take drugs than black people. You cannot convince me that white people. You literally just can't convince me that black people take more drugs than white people. White people by far take way more drugs. But you want to know the crazy thing? Who raps about drugs? I mean, who actually puts drugs in their music? Just the most.
Black people.
Black rappers. Not even rappers. R&B singers. They I mean, I just told you the Nicki Minaj song, Pills and Potion. Come on, man. Like R&B singers, pop artists, they rapping about they talking about drugs and shit. Right. However, if you really look at the country demographic, as far as people who overdosing on drugs,
I was just about to say
it's people who live in rural areas, the Midwest, those type of people who say listen to Taylor Swift, or people who listening to the Lady Gagas, okay? These country music people, these are the people who overdosing on drugs, but you don't hear Taylor Swift rapping about popping Molly, or popping a perk.
No, not at all.
Or drinking lean.
She wasn't there.
Come on, man.
She has an image
because like you just said, bro, like you just said, these labels, they know exactly who their audience is basically for, and they want to keep it. They want to keep those demographics tightly constrained and exactly basically for that. Whoever they sign is for that exact audience, it's for that exact category, and the music that they make is going to influence these exact people. And that's exactly why I want to ask you this last and final question. Do you feel like these people, these artists in general, are all selling their souls for money?
Man. Do I feel like they all sell? Yeah, for money, yeah, because I think money is the motive for why they're doing it.
Numbers right. We gonna take flight.
Money is definitely the motive because that's really just what it comes down to. Like it's just even in the music, it's like just how much money or just the lavishes of the lifestyle or just the fruits of their labor. Like it all comes down to the money at the end of the day. Like it's just kind of just to keep it hip hop. Like it's just like hip hop is just so money driven. It's about all right. Like I got this much. I do this with my money. Like here's something you can't do. Like it's just a big pissing contest. You know what I'm saying? Even like R&B don't really do it as much because R&B is what it is. R&B is R&B and soul and pop and all that. Like they don't really dive into that. But just when it comes to just us, this black community, like it's just like we glorify, we just glorify money, glorify just pretty much what comes of it. You see it in the music videos, you see it in social medias now. Like you just it's just a constant thing, man. Just like I was saying earlier, like money, weed, bitches, cars. Like that's still the main ingredient, the main formula. We're still like on that. And yeah, like that's the image you have to uphold, and that's you selling your soul. That might not even be you. Yeah, that might be you for the time being, but is that really you for the rest of your life? Is that really you the next 5 years, 10 years?
Bro, you may have a vision of coming into the game being like Kendrick Lamar, but they turn you to a Moneybagg Yo.
Facts.
You don't even know that shit, bro. Young Thug maybe could have came into the game wanting to rap and be just like Kendrick Lamar. But instead, he turned into Young Thug because of what the labels wanted. You never know. Young Thug could probably be one of the best spitters we ever heard, and we don't even know.
Don't even know. Even Drake kind of had to kind of just like he had to kind of switch up. Like he had to like even though Drake is good at what he does. He's real good at what he does. But Drake does have to kind of just like appeal or just, kind of cater to what it is as a rapper. Like he be trying to talk that shit, bro. It's just like, and it might, I'm not saying he not really, really come from that. I don't know who comes from what, because you never know what's authentic or what in this rap shit because, hey, we don't know. But yeah, you do kind of gotta talk that shit. You gotta kind of just like, put on this personas. You gotta kind of just talk the talk that the people want. And that's again, like just back to your questions, like, yeah, it's selling your soul, man, especially for money. Like what you put in your songs or what you put in like the power of your tongue is what really puts like the power in your pockets. Pretty much. It's like,
and I don't
how
think
far
I could have
really
said that even
go.
better. Exactly. And I don't think I could have said that even better, bro. And truly, in the good words of my friend, my very good friend, Roddy Ricch, I can never sell my soul. Ooh. And that is exactly why we do what we do at the ShiftMakers podcast.
Donda.
And of course, exactly what Brendan do at the Weauxdie podcast. And that's exactly why we calling for y'all support, Jeremy. Of course, we definitely do appreciate your time. We definitely do appreciate your treasure. We definitely do appreciate all of the value you think you've got and all of the value you're gonna give back, you hear me? This has definitely been a very lengthy podcast, a very lengthy episode, but it was well worth it. And I definitely do appreciate your time, Brendan, bro.
Always,
you definitely did bless the audience, of course.
Definitely, my brother.
And you already know, bro. You already know, dog. Y'all definitely don't hesitate to reach out to the Weauxdie podcast. Tell them how you feel. Leave a subscription. Leave a like. Do anything that you need to do, of course, to support their show, as, of course, you're supporting ours. And I mean, as we mentioned, if you like to leave a donation, we got those linked below. We definitely do got our PayPal. We definitely do got, of course, our CashApp and Venmo. So just consider all of the value that you got. Consider leaving it back. As you already know, we are recording from Color Command Creative Studio out here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am your host, L the Designer, checking in live, of course, episode 21 of the ShiftMakers podcast.